So in this video, we're going to download and install the Java JDK, the Java Development Kit for Linux. Now, if you're using a Mac or Windows, then do refer to the installation videos in this section for your operating system. Now, the instructions here are going to be for a distro based on Debian, and I'm going to be using Ubuntu in this video. Now, if you're running a different distro, then you should be able to find instructions by searching online, but by all means leave a question in the questions and answers section of this course, and we'll do our best to sort you out. Remember to mention which Linux distro you're using and also the version. Okay, so let's go on installing OpenJDK. Alright, so let's install the OpenJDK on our Linux machine. Now, the quickest way to open a terminal session is to do a Control-Alt-T, so I'm going to do that. So just get into terminal. Alternatively, you can come over here and click this and type or search for terminal. You get a terminal session that way. I'm going to go back to the one that I've created. I'll just put this a little bit more in the middle of the screen. Alright, so the OpenJDK is now in the repositories for Ubuntu, but it's possible that you may need to set up a PPA first. Now, for other distros that aren't based on Debian, visit the OpenJDK website at openjdk.java.net and just use the install link from there. Now, if you're not sure whether OpenJDK is in your system's repository already, you can start by trying to install with this command. So with the terminal session open, sudo space apt-get install openjdk-8-jdk. Type in your password. Now you can see that I've got an error on the screen there. Now you may actually get an error, as you can see here, OpenJDK-8-JDK has no installation candidate. If you do get that, and only if you do, then you need to follow the next steps on the screen to add the repository. But if it worked without an error, don't bother adding the repository. And to add the repository, use the commands as you can see on the screen there, sudo space add-apt-repository space ppa : openjdk-r/ppa, and let that command finish. When that's finished, you can do a sudo space apt-get space update, and that should fix the problem. Alright, so in my case, I actually had an error, so what I need to do is add the repository. So you won't need to do this unless you've got the error that I did on the screen. I'm going to type sudo add-apt-repository space ppa : openjdk-r/ that is ppa. Press enter there. And after that, we need to do a sudo apt-get space update. Alright, so that command's finished. So that's if you had to add the repository. But now, continuing on, what we need to do is go ahead and try and install it again. So if you didn't need to add the repository, you type this command. So what I'm actually going to do is just use my up arrow 3 times to get to the same command I typed prior to adding the repository. So you'll need to type that if up arrow doesn't work in your distro for some reason. Press enter there. And that's going to go ahead and ask us, do we want to install? We're going to press enter, which is the default for yes there. We could have just pressed Y and enter there at the same time. Either way will work. And that's now going ahead and downloading and installing the OpenJDK. So the last thing we'll need to do once this is finished installing is just check that we've got the right version, and then we'll be good to move on to the next video. Okay, so you can see that that's done now. So last thing we'll do is we'll type Java space dash, then the word version, Java space dash version, press enter. And we want to check that we can see over here it's got an 8 in it. So 1.8 means JDK 8. So you may get different numbers at the end here after that to the right of the 1.8. As long as you can see 1.8, that tells us that we've installed OpenJDK version 8 and we're good to go. So let's move on now to the next video where we're going to go ahead and download and install Android Studio for Linux. See you in the next video.